March 31st, 2026. Thought I was going to sneeze. And it is currently 9:40 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. I am just on my way up to Albuquerque because I don't know if any of you guys heard, since I haven't told this on YouTube yet. I'm now going to classes at Pima Medical Institute, and I figured that I would start doing my weekly vlogs again, because I told my girlfriend in Japan about it, and she was the one who kind of encouraged me to do it again, because she enjoys seeing snippets of my life. Now, I'm not sure if so I was realizing that something was missing on my car. Anyways, I figured that I would get you guys up to speed on what happened and why I stopped doing the weekly vlogs. I cannot remember when it was that I stopped doing them, but it was definitely towards the end of that 1 year. And my good friend and I were hanging out in Albuquerque. If you guys remember, he is a bit camera shy, so he did not want to show himself on camera. Anyways, we went to a hot spot of different places, and we went bowling. I don't think we did glow in the dark golf that day, but we definitely went by Buffett's Candy. And we also, for bowling, we went by Main Event. And for lunch, we did Takumi over the Teppanyaki Grill, which I did film most of this. However, after everything that happened, I wasn't comfortable with showing what was filmed, or uploading what was filmed. And from there, things went downhill. My car, which was a 1995 Buick Roadmaster. Yeah, 1995 Buick Roadmaster. I filled it up over at one of the gas stations in Albuquerque, and all of a sudden, I went to crank it up, and the electronics came on, but when I turned it over to crank up, all it went to was just a click, and everything cut out. We knew that this was going to be an electrical issue that we would have had to chase. And with the Buick Roadmaster, these are very tricky to hide. They're very tricky to chase down. And also, we decided that it was not going to be worth it to chase down this problem. So we went ahead and sold it for parts. Now, what happened after that was, of course, I needed another car, because this one broke down on me, and this one nearly did, by the way, but we managed to get it fixed for now. What I found was a 2004 Toyota Sienna. But we made a mistake by buying this one because the transmission slipped on this one. And this scared the living daylights out of me, because when the transmission would slip on me, it would kick itself into neutral, and the engine would be racing hard, and so I would have to let go of the accelerator until it would slip back into gear, which would sometimes take 10 seconds, sometimes it would take up to 20 seconds. And this brought my anxiety up really bad. I didn't even tell you what happened before then. I failed over at UNM Valencia, not because I was a bad student, but because of one thing that I did not do. Sorry. I did not get my fingerprint scanned on time for a background check in order for me to be accepted into practicals. And it's not like I could get my previous experience from doing practicals over at another assisted living facility, because this one I had to do again. Not saying that I had to make up the practicals for when I did practicals that one time, but what I was saying was I had to attend this set of practicals in order to pass this in this class. After I failed at that, I was so emotionally defeated that I went into a year-long depression. During that depression, I discovered something that I thought was it was going to make me happier again. That was a relationship that some people would find to be completely unorthodox, which I am not going to reveal what it was that I was going to do on YouTube. because I know that I am making this a kid-friendly channel. And I don't want to give children the wrong idea. Anyways, so the Toyota Sienna backfired on me, so I was given this car, which is a 2005, Chrysler Town and Country. My favorite feature about this car is that the middle and back seats can fold into the floor, which right now I have it set up like that. And I was focusing more on driving rather than the camera right then, which I did get a new Handycam, cheaper than a Sony HDR CX440, which I did have in the past. This one I picked up for about $110 over at Best Buy. Could have been more than that, but bottom line is I did get a new camera. Anyways, what else? So far this car seems to be running pretty well, and running fairly decently, shall I say, because there are some minor hiccups now and then, here and there. Now, I think that's pretty much me getting you guys back up to speed. During that depression, I decided to start writing a book, which kind of reflects on what I was going to be. Children, I definitely do not want to read this book, because this book is not made to be for children. Excuse me, but it's definitely geared toward a more mature audience, because of the adult themes and the language in it. I was just passing by the rest area, and I saw some Tresco people working over there. My friend works with Tresco, so he cleans restrooms. He cleans rest areas off of interstates. Shout out to them because they do a fantastic job. However, he gets pissed off whenever people don't read the signs that if the restrooms are closed. And I tell him all the time that you just need to let that go, because they're simply in a rush, and they just don't have the time to switch to a different restroom. All they care about really is their destination, and that's what I tell him all the time. He has autism too, so it's hard for him to understand that. His autism is not nearly as bad as mine, though. Anyways, now for more current events. It was 2 weeks ago on Thursday when I took my bicycle, which is back there, up to a bicycle shop called Trek Bicycle in Albuquerque, which is located off of San Mateo and Manal. If you're wondering, it's next to More Furniture. They do really good service over there, by the way. And I went up there to get new bicycle tires for me to start riding again. I walk out into my car, and the same thing happened to my Buick Roadmaster. Happened to this baby. Yep. Big pups. They'll scare me every time. Anyways, I put the key in the ignition. I turn it over. Electronics come on. I turn it to crank up. Boom. Electronics cut out. I was so uptight that I wanted to cry because I thought I had lost this sucker, and there were definitely some times when I really wanted to sell this car because I knew at some point it was going to fail on me. Well, it did. I left it over at the Trek Bicycle parking lot, and I called my family. And my grandmother and my brother Alex got up here. It got up to Albuquerque. His real name is not Alex, by the way. He just goes by that as his nickname, as his YouTube name. Anyways, Alex and her got up to Albuquerque. They tested the battery. The battery was completely fine, and that led them to believe that it was either ignition switch, alternator, or the relay for the ignition switch. If not, it was most likely the computer, which is a more complex thing. They have it towed over to Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram off of Lomas in Wyoming. And I took the city bus over to Pima the rest of the way. But I took the city bus up and all up to San Pedro so that I could do some could do a transaction over at. Accidentally, I said my bank name, but I'm going to edit that out. Anyways, I do my transaction over at that bank over there, and which there are two, and I actually three up there, and I took Route 8 back over to San Mateo, and I got off over there, and I walked from San Mateo and Manol over to Cutler near Washington Street, I think it was. It's either Washington Street or Washington Boulevard. But if you guys know where the old gym is over at the pavilions at San Mateo, that's where Pima Medical Institute is. Right there off of Cutler Avenue. And I get in, and as soon as I walk into the building, what the hell was that? And as soon as I get into the building, excuse me. Goodness me. Excuse me. Anyways, as soon as I get into the building, my legs at this point are becoming heavy, which meant that I knew I was going to collapse. And I got into the student lounge. I took off my backpack and my purse, and I collapsed right onto the curved sofa right there. Bad thing is that nobody in there checked to see if I was okay, which I can understand and cannot understand at the same time, because they were all students. Still, it would have been nice if someone did check on me. And the reason that happened was because I became overheated. By the way, if you're wondering, this is not an Apple Watch. It's a iTech Fusion 3, and it would be compatible with my Kyocera Duraforce, but I just haven't gotten that far, because for some reason it wouldn't connect. Anyways, but it's still useful on its own. Anyways, I became overheated, and I shuffled over to the I shuffled over to grab a cold Gatorade, which I still have to pay for what I get over at the student lounge. And I paid for it, and I just could not stop chugging it. And because of that, I did not eat lunch that time. during one of our breaks over at Pima, I did eat my lunch. Great. I just remembered that I did not bring my lunch with me. Oh well. I'll just get one of the sandwiches over there at the student lounge. Anyways. The rest of the class went fairly decently. God bless. Keep saving lives. I'll see you guys next time, everyone. Bye.